Hello, Maria Peth here with Maria's Angelic Enlightenment, coming to you this morning from Waverly, Iowa, in my beautiful office. It's a cold day here in Waverly, but a little bit beautiful with the sun. So sometimes it's deceiving, I guess you could say. That's deceiving when the sun shines and it's cold out. But it's all right. It's May, and the newscasters said yesterday that this weekend is going to be equal to the temperature we had in December. So it's kind of like a Christmas weather. And so that could be good and bad. For May, it's Christmas weather. Doesn't sound so wonderful, but it is a wonderful day. I'm going to be talking to you about healing with the angels. And I have some music playing in the background, and I'm going to start this class right now with a prayer. So those of you that are on, let's take a deep breath together. Let out stress. Take another deep breath. Let out stress and really take your hand to your heart. Blow out that negative energy. Blow out any stress that you may be holding in your body at this time. Let your shoulders relax. Take another deep breath. And as you blow out this time, really just let your shoulders relax and let your energy really center. Beautiful Lord, sweet angels, Holy Spirit, my guides and angels, and all those that are listening and will listen later, guides and angels, I welcome your presence into our living rooms, into our homes, into our essence today, and guide us to healing. Guide us to working with the angels for healing. Guide us to understanding steps and purpose and awareness of how we heal. May you be with each and every one of us in this moment and in many moments to come. In your name we are grateful, and for this time together. Amen. So again, this is Maria Peth with Maria's Angelic Enlightenment, and today's class is Healing with the Angels. I've got a few notes. I'm going to be talking just a little bit with you about how healing actually works. And the first, there's key factors. I'm going to highlight about 3 or 4 different key factors, but they're not set in stone. When you are working on any kind of healing, we need to first believe that we can be healed, and you want to actually have the desire to heal. And it is a tricky thing. Sometimes people don't want to heal because an illness keeps them safe. An illness might keep somebody from having to, for instance, work hard. In hard labor, or that they don't have the energy to keep up with their children, or that a person is working in a situation that is really detrimental to them. The environment is difficult. The people that they're working with are not vibing with them. It doesn't feel right. So when you have those kinds of issues, sometimes people want to be sick without knowing. So it's a subconscious sickness. It is subconsciously keeping them sick because they have this condition that they don't want to be healthy for. And so one of the things that brings healing is that desire to be healed. It is the first avenue of healing. And, angels have said this many times to me. The frequency of healing is love and grace. And so love yourself. Be graceful to yourself. That means nurture yourself. And that's really the first key, is this idea of do I want to be healed? Do I want to be healed, and will this healing help me? And in the biggest scheme of things, sometimes the illness exists because it keeps somebody from doing something or being involved in something that they don't want to be involved in. And that is a subconscious space that many are not aware of. So we want to be aware of the first step. A fundamental step of healing is, I want to be healed. So if you're listening today and you've got, an energy of an attitude of, well, of course I want to be healed, but haven't really explored more deeply about what that means to you, or how that can be, how that healing can happen or come about. It's not always about reaching for a medicine cabinet. Healing begins in the mind. And this is one of the truths, the lessons in this wonderful book, A Course in Miracles. Healing begins in the mind. The Course says, and it's like, what does that mean? Healing begins in the mind. Well, just as I said, you have to desire to think, to think, and then to emotionally feel that you want to be healed. And the healing then has a chance. There are no, I guess we would say there's no set time when any of us are going to die, so to speak. Like, you have not scheduled that. I'm going to die at this date. But people that are very, very sick, people that have been sick for a long time, long-term sickness, or a lifetime of illness, sometimes say, I'm done. They'll tell their loved ones, I'm done and I'm ready to go. And, so I don't want to do this treatment or that treatment. I'm done. I'm just going to let my body, leave the earth. And that is a mindset that they have. And then they go. Where other people have, I'm not ready to die. I'm not going. It's not going to happen. And I'm, here and I'm fighting this. And they do, in fact, fight that, because again, healing begins in the mind. Angelic healing is a frequency. Angelic healing asks you to connect with the angelic beings and ask for that healing. If you want it, we ask for that healing. I did talk about this just a couple of last Friday, actually. I talked about the angels, the archangels. I introduced 3 different archangels, and we're going to bring in beautiful Raphael again, because Raphael is the angel of healing. Raphael's presence, intention, the essence, the frequency of Raphael, the frequency of the Lord Jesus, who was a great healer, the frequency and the connection of the Holy Spirit. These are healing angelic energies. So we call in the energy of the healing angels to surround you if you're not feeling well, to surround someone that you love that isn't feeling well and that needs healing, to support and surround a situation that might need healing. So healing begins in the mind. Yes, I want the healing. Now I'm going to ask angels to work with me, for me, through me, and with me. So then you need to be aware of the messages and the impressions that may come as you are being guided to this healing. Sometimes a message or an awareness comes about a particular modality to try to bring healing. Or maybe it's simply that you need sleep. Or it may be that you are supposed to be trying a more natural approach, a holistic approach, or perhaps there is a medical or pharmaceutical approach to try, or the doctor that you're led to. It's not as if, angels rush in and do this miracle healing with the frequency. That does happen. But spontaneous healings do happen. But it can also be that you get prompts to do such and such, a prompt to try this doctor, that holistic healer, this practitioner, a prompt to try this pharmaceutical or this natural nutraceutical, this bio, available, again, natural remedy. There are a variety of ways that you can be guided, but when you're connecting with the frequency of the healing angels, then you're more open to the availability and that frequency of healing and whatever may come into you and for you, and again work with you. Healing begins in the mind. So what about healing somebody that isn't, yet cognizant enough to, like a little baby, let's say a little preemie, a little infant. Um, the same way we call in the healing angels, we surround and ask that the healing angels surround that little infant. We ask that the healing angels bring the frequency of love to that little infant. And then, because you are the one that's praying, or you may be the parent, or you may be the grandparents, or you may be connected, a friend, then you listen to the guidance that might come. Doctors are going to do their part. If this child is a preemie and is in a NICU unit, doctors are going to do their part, but always doctors collaborate with the patients and those that are in charge of the patients, or have the guidance of those patients in mind. And so if you are the parent, you may be guided to agree with a particular modality of bringing that child to to their full capacity and restoring their health, so that they can function on their own. Or you have, the ability to make choices and to say, this I agree with, this I don't agree with. Can we try this? Is there another approach? But listening to your intuition is connecting on a soul level, listening to the angels and having that frequency of love guide you. Logic is important in critical emergency cases, but the frequency of love is that adding on more prayers and asking others to pray, and the circle of prayers continue, and all that energy is working with that little soul to help them to heal, help them to make it through to the end of their term, and then to be breathing, kicking, and screaming on their own, which is how we want them to be. Bringing comfort is one of the most important avenues that angels can bring for us. They bring comfort. Their energy is comforting. They can shift a presence, a room. They can illuminate and support. They can open the airways. They can work with the soul that wants to be healed and expedite ways of healing. And those can be spontaneous, but many times they take time, because it took time for us to tear our body down, to get sick. And now we need to take the same amount of time and investment to build our bodies back up. So as I said, healing begins in the mind. I'm going to look down at my notes here a minute. So angelic healing is about a frequency, a love healing, and a grace. And so prayer is important, inviting prayer, inviting positive energy, inviting love, coming from the heart when you are listening to guidance that may come to you, being open to the angelic prompts and the guidance that you may receive through angels is the second step. And in order to listen to the angels or hear them, or to sense the messages that are coming, or the guidance that's coming from angels, we actually need to often shift our perception, or shift into a place of meditation and reflection. So instead of being, charging ahead and just bolstering our way to some kind of healing activity, or a practice that we say a program that may support healing, it's important to actually take time to reflect and to shift your perception a little bit. Because when you're in the midst of an illness, or in the midst of a problem, and a lot of times healing can be emotional. You're in the midst of this this kind of messy place. It's hard to see that you want to heal. It's hard to be in a space of love and to come from grace. And the perception sometimes is, why am I sick? Why did I bring this on? Why did this illness come to me? Why is this here for me? Why did I allow this? If you remember, we are co-creators with God in this time and space. We are all co-creators, and so we need to take responsibility for bringing on an illness. And a lot of times, an illness or something that needs healing, again, has been occurring in our body for quite some time, but it's maybe more noticeable now because you have been perhaps ignoring your body's nudges to eat healthy or to exercise or to get enough sunshine or to get enough love or to even have enough time from busy work. Maybe you've been running too fast and going, and you don't take time to play. All of these things cause illness, cause stress, cause pain. One of the most specific situations that people don't always realize is the emotional and kind of deep-seated pain that we have from past memories or past traumas. So I am doing a class next Wednesday. It's on Eventbrite already, and that is angelic healing class with myself, Maria Peth, and I'm going to be channeling a healing meditation for all people that enroll in that, and so it's going to be a lot of work with the healing angels. And so trauma is something that actually heals very well when we work with the angelic frequency. Physical pain and owies, that we get, lacerations or whatever you might get on the outside of the body, we can heal more holistically, more easily. But the inner pain, the trauma pain from someone having had, a sexual abuse or some other kind of, verbal, mental, emotional abuse, having neglect, other traumatic, experiences of being beaten or even, constantly beaten down. Those are unseen hurts, and they are probably the biggest cause of pain in most adults and some children. Children know how to release this pain. So angels have said, children right away when they get hurt, they wail. An adult doesn't always wail. An adult thinks I got to hold it in, or an adult says, this hurts, but I got to go take care of it. I got to manage this. We have to let the pain out. When you're being traumatized on a regular basis, like verbally abused, people don't even realize it. Some people grow up in households where there's constant verbal abuse and they didn't even know it until they, get out and about and they see that other families aren't quite run the same way. And then they realize this has really been beating down on me. I really am struggling with this. But do they realize it? So step 3 in healing is realizing why or how you may have brought on this illness, or it may have come upon you. What was it and how did it come upon you? Was this a traumatic experience that you're now feeling the results of, and the trauma needs to get out? Sometimes the trauma comes out in an autoimmune deficiency or some kind of autoimmune pain or inflammation. Sometimes it comes in through depression. Sometimes it comes in through panic attacks. And a lot of times trauma can come in with migraine headaches and other similar ailments and attack us cancerously, to attack your breasts, your lymph nodes, your digestive system, because you've been holding pain, emotional pain or trauma in other ways, and you haven't let it out. So angels say that we have to feel the feels. If you've been holding on to pain for a long time, you've got to give yourself outs of letting the pain out. You've got to wail. You've got to cry, to scream. And one of the really good ways of getting the pain out when you don't know why you have trauma or why you have a trigger going on, why you're feeling a little bit ornery, why you have been, having panic attacks or migraines, or why. A good way to understand yourself is to do a little journaling. A little journaling every day. Journaling is a way to understand or ask questions of your soul and just journal it out. Sometimes, you don't have to know the answers, you just journal what comes. You let your free flow handwriting, long handwriting just come. Why do I have this pain? What could it be? And then let yourself, go into imagination a little bit, not necessarily have to have like this diagnosis with a doctor's, prescription written on top of it. This is you working with the angels, asking them to help you heal and to help you understand why you might have this embedded trauma in your body, why you have this emotional situation happening. And journaling is a way to get it out. Journaling is one way to get it out. And then crying would be a more effective way to follow up with that, because you might hit a nerve or come out with a reality or an understanding, and then you cry it out. Unforgiveness of people, situations, even yourself can be, again, a hidden trauma. And angels say we all must learn to forgive. We all must learn to forgive ourselves. Forgive yourself for not feeding yourself well, for drinking too much last night, for taking that, whatever it was, over the counter for 100 years and that wrecked your stomach. Forgive yourself for staying in the relationship too long that was dredging you apart, or the job that was tearing you apart every day. Or just simply forgive yourself for not being aware that your body needed you. And forgive others that you may be pointing a finger at, that you think that it's their fault, that they are causing you strain or stress or havoc. That is not true. We are all responsible for ourselves. Yeah, but Maria, what about little children? I mean, they are also responsible for themselves. And when they feel pain, like I said, they usually wail. They get it out. When they feel an emotional pain, a traumatic pain, a pain that is physical, they cry. And you should be crying too. If you haven't let that little girl, that little boy in you out for a long time that needed to cry because they were traumatized, then it's okay to cry now. And one of the ways we can do that is through journaling back to that time and why that might have hurt. Deep-seated embedded pain can develop as cancer. Deep-seated embedded pain can develop as a nervous twitch, a nervous twitch, an anxiety, a feeling of limitedness, of being, unempowered, disempowered, I believe the word is. So we have to make a choice about healing. The first step is that healing begins in the mind, and you decide you want to be healed. The second step with angelic healing is you call in the angels. Angels come in, give me some support here, surround me. I call hundreds and hundreds of angels to surround me and support me, to guide me, to lift me up, and to bring the healing. I call the energy of the Lord Jesus to work for me and with me and through me, because Jesus was a great healer. I call Archangel Raphael, the healing archangel of the heavens, and all the healing angels, saints, and the wisdom of the energy healers on this planet and on other universes. Energy healing, the frequency of energy is, I call it to me. I am healed. I am whole. I am complete. I call it to me now. And then you may be prompted, because you have called in the angels. They may prompt you to go to a particular physician or a particular practitioner, or to try a modality that you haven't thought of before, a protocol that may be different, or interesting or new, because that is what you are doing when we're asking angels to help us heal, is we're bringing in the miracles. And you need to also remember to take action. And the third step was that idea of understanding that deep-seated traumas may be a route to forgiveness, and to be aware that our emotions can cause a lot of pain and harbor pain in the deepness. So awareness is more of the third step. Forgiveness is a way that we would work through that awareness. Forgiveness, frustration, anger, abuse, it can all be deep-seated in the body. And forgiveness is one way to move through it. I'm going to look at my notes here a minute and see if I'm forgetting anything. And the fourth step, which I expressed briefly, but we want to really expand on, is feel the feels. Feel the feels. Feel the feels. That means that we got to get it out. We got to get the pain out. And angels say it's like, get it out by, writing it out, screaming it out, crying it out, get it out by journaling it out, even if it's deep-seated from the past. But if it's current, if it's right now, why do I have this pain? I need to get it out. And it could be physical pain, it could be emotional pain, it could be spiritual pain. But getting it out, talking with somebody else, a counselor, a coach, an angel reader, working with somebody that does energy healing, working on yourself, going for a walk and just letting all the tears come. Buddying up and connecting with, your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, your wife, your husband, your children, putting an arm around them, having them put an arm around you to get it out, get the pain out. But Maria, they're the pain. The reason I feel pain is because of them. And when you point your finger at them, remember that you are the one responsible. You are the one responsible for allowing a situation to go on, allowing a condition to persist, and you can make changes. And in changes, your perception changes, and you begin to see yourself as the healer. You begin to realize that you are the vessel of healing. That perception change can come because you call on the angels. The perception change can come because you are journaling, and you are screaming, and you are getting it out. So it's an example of something and somewhere, that I've healed. I've had quite a few healings, and sometimes this idea of asking for healing comes quite quickly. A really fast one that the healing that came, that has come for me in the past is really fast. Is one where I had a frozen shoulder. This arm was frozen. And, it was just woke up with it one morning. The left arm had this frozen shoulder, and I just happened to be, have a physical and annual appointment that week. So I did ask my general practitioner about it. And the general practitioner said, well, you're going to have to do a couple exercises, to release that. Here's some exercises, also some warm compresses, and, take a Tylenol or aspirin or ibuprofen, when the pain is too much, which I never do. So I never take ibuprofen, or I never take, I instead use essential oils. But I've been prompted and guided by angels for a long time to make the use of essential oils and as healing, because they are very powerful. And so a really good anti-inflammatory is ginger. So I will put ginger. I'll even get a ginger root and cut that into my tea. Drink ginger tea. So anti-inflammatory. Also, now we have available CBD oil, which is a really great anti-inflammatory. And that's more natural. They're just more natural ways to use instead of of using any kind of analgesic that could affect your stomach and cause bleeding, internal bleeding after years and years of using those topical anesthetics. So at that time, I used, the ginger, and I did the exercises that the doctor, gave me, but I started praying and saying, I'm healed. Angels, heal my shoulder. I'm healed. Just I ask that my shoulder, will unfreeze, that I will have full mobility, in no time. Give me the guidance that I need to bring it about. And within a week, I woke up and my shoulder was unfrozen. I mean, it was like I went to bed that night and I was like able to raise my shoulder just to hear. And I woke up that morning and I'm putting on, my clothes, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm healed. I did use essential oils. I still used some of the stretches that the regular medical doctor had offered and supported me with. But I did the steps as I have encouraged you to do, is like, you want the healing, number one, that it healed, period. And then on a subconscious level, you have to really allow that healing. 2, ask those angels to come in. 3, sometimes we have to forgive someone, something, some situation. And 4, we got to feel the feels. I didn't need to go to 3 and 4. I went to 1 and 2. I wanted to be healed, and I asked the angels. And within a week, my shoulder was unfrozen. Now, I still had a little bit of limited mobility, I noticed, but I kept working on that with yoga to have more mobility. Something that, has taken longer to heal has been some sciatica issues that I have felt. And these are all physical, pains that I have had, because I've done already a lot with the traumas from the past. I've healed those long ago, with the journaling, like I mentioned to you, with the forgiveness techniques that I've mentioned. But one more physical that's taken a little longer has been the sciatica. And I did get prompted to try different practitioners, and I have. And also be more body aware and focus, be kinder to my body in the way that I sit, and crossing of the legs, not so good. But those were all promptings that came over time, because it took time for my sciatica to act up. So I listened to the angels, and over time, and sometimes it still acts up. So I go back to those modalities and those things that I have known to work. Is 1, know that I am healed. 2, ask the angels to work with me to support the healing. Pay attention to the messages that I might get, the intentions, the people that come into my life, the situations that are brought before me. Even, Googling how to heal blah, 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 holistically, is something that I do quite regularly. And then remember that we have to forgive a situation, a thing, and then we shift our perception about this thing, because it's not, why is this happening to me? But it's like, I'm responsible now. What can I do? And then feel the feels if it's traumatic. And again, I want to tell you, I have healed lots of trauma and past neglect feelings, or abandonment feelings, those kinds of traumas. I was never, I had a fairly happy childhood, except that, I did have, I don't know my biological father. And so I didn't have one of those. But the father that replaced that biological father was the only father I ever knew. And he's perfect, an absolute angel. And I couldn't have prayed for a better, father. So I had that healing, but I still felt a bit abandoned. So there's some abandonment that, I had in my past, and I did some past life regressions for that. And I do support people in past life regressions in sessions if they specifically ask for them, and they take a little longer than angel readings. I did them on myself, and I want to tell you, one of my recordings that you can find here on YouTube is Angelic Journey. An angelic journey can take you into past lives and you can come to healing points in those past lives if some of the trauma that might be in your body or the embedded issues or concerns may have seated in a past life. So that is something that you can do on your own, is listen to the angelic journey that is recorded by me, and it should be available on my YouTube channel. If not, you can find it on Apple. Or on CD Baby, which I think it was only 99 cents on CD Baby, but it is free on iTunes if you have an iTunes account. Angelic Journey. The other one that complements that is Angelic Healing. And angelic healing takes you through physical healing through the chakras, and then emotional healing a little bit deeper, and it is also a meditation. And as I said, on next Wednesday, on May the 13th, I believe, and from 6:30 to 8:30, I'm doing a class, but it is a class you have to sign up for. And I am going to be channeling a healing for everyone that participates. And it's on Eventbrite. I'm using the Zoom, platform to deliver that class for you. So a little commercial here and there. But today we have pretty much completed the 4 steps that I wanted to share with you when working with angels on angelic healing. The first, of course, was that the foundational level of just simply wanting to be healed is ultimately important. And that foundational level actually is a rise in your own vibration. When you want to be healed, you will be at a higher frequency. Your energy is going to be in a place of loving yourself. And when you love yourself, when you want to be healed, when you want that healing to come in, on a mental level, on a emotional level, on a physical level, on a spiritual level, there is no denying that healing, because that love is going to be there. That frequency of love is there for you, but you must want it. And 2, we got to call on the angels. Prayer, meditation, reflection. A lot of times for me, when I have something that ails me just a little deeper, I do a deeper meditation for it. And so it's easy. You just need to be quiet, be still, and say, angels, work with me, work through me, bring guidance. And as I said before, pay attention to the guidance. It could come in someone coming into your life, a vitamin being suggested to you, a modality being suggested to you, a particular physician or practitioner being suggested to you, and then listen. Because that one thing can work for you in that specific time, and it can be just what you need. And don't stop there. Keep asking the angels to heal other aspects of your life, not just the physical aches and the emotional aches, but ask them to help you with relationships. Ask them to help you with life. Ask them to give guidance when you are feeling distraught at your work or with life in general. And those little nudges that come are miracles. But you have to want to be healed first. And then calling on those angels, being in that frequency of love is hugely important. And as I said, number 3 is the idea of forgiveness, getting to a point of, why is this happening to me? And the best way to work through that a lot of time is through journaling. And then number 4 is getting it out the pain. So we realize what it is, what happened, why you were sad, why your emotions were taking you to this place. And you get it out. And you get it out by simply crying, screaming, yelling, writing, painting, drawing, dancing, but the pain comes out and the healing begins. I am coming to this time of closure for this particular class. I want to encourage you to leave me, your put your name on the, tell me where you're from and who you are. Like, hi, I'm from such and such is plenty for me. Give me a thumbs up if you like this. Then I know if I should continue to do more free classes here and there. But thumbs up. I have been on a schedule of doing something free every Friday since the pandemic. So I have really kind of come to enjoy this. And so you let me know if you like it, and maybe even a nudge as to what else you want me to share with you, from a teaching perspective, a spiritual teaching perspective. But today, the last thing I have for you is this idea of self-care. Self-care is to celebrate your own self. Self-care means that you love you. Self-care means that you get plenty of rest and sleep and eat the good food and get sunlight, and also some hugs here and there. And self-care for me, and I want to pass this on to you, it's kind of like a little hack, includes some kind of morning ritual. And for me, the morning ritual is that I start with a prayer, thanking God and the angels for being present, and asking them that they would work through me to support and bring a service to God and the people of the earth in some way. And then I'm grateful for whatever. I'm grateful for my bed. I have a little, like, I'm grateful for being alive today. I'm grateful for my bed. I'm grateful that I get to teach a class today. I'm grateful that I'm going to have sessions with people. I'm grateful that I get to spend some time with my family and my dog, this kind of thing. And then I go for a walk. Most of the last few months has been with my husband and my dog, and we'd go for a 3-mile walk. And that's the ritual. The ritual that has really been very healthy, and it's part of self-care. And I forgot my meditation. Oh my gosh! Right after the prayer, I have 20 minutes of meditation. I have to tell you that one, because I have to have that meditation. It's so important, and that meditation is different than the prayer. Because for praying, I'm talking to God, but when I meditate, I listen to God. And so I just put on a little soft music that lasts for 20 minutes, and I go into that place in my heart, into that meditation. That's self-care. And that's very important, these very important keys. And no brainer. I mean, Angels said, share your self-care routine. And I have met many other little tidbits, which I know all of you have, but I just wanted to share that, reality with you. And even this morning, my doggie was not doing well and was sick, and my husband woke me up at like 3:30 in the morning to tell me this. And so we both, worked together to clean up and then give the bath, and then I cleaned the house for a little bit, and then I said, that 6:15 time hits, 6:15 in the morning. I said, I'm going to go do my meditation. And then I went and did my meditation, and then again we went for a walk. So even with that, I felt guided to go back, to slow down, even though I had gotten up early and had kind of a disruption in my typical routine. I got up, at 3:30 instead of typically 6:15, but it's all good, because I still did the self-care. And so I ask you and encourage you the same. So 2 things. I am doing that angelic healing class with the frequency. I want to tell you, I'm very excited about it. I am going to be doing angelic healing. We're going to do some releasing and some clearing, and then I'm going to do a guided, a channeled meditation, working with the angels to bring healing to you in that time. It's also about bringing us up to frequency, expanding your frequency and improving your frequency, because that supports more immunity. And that class is next Wednesday from 6:30 to 8:30. It is on Eventbrite, and it is a paid class. I'm sorry, but I've got to make a living somehow, otherwise I can't sustain myself. And I also want to encourage you to ask the angels not just to help heal physical ailments, but help you to heal in many parts of your life. So this has been Maria Peth with Maria's Angelic Enlightenment, coming to you from beautiful, sunny but chilly Iowa today. I want you to have an amazing day, an amazing Mother's Day weekend. Even if you're not a mother, you're a mother, because all of us are. So in your name and in your grace, I ask that you that you join me in prayer as we finish here. When I looked up just a second ago, the live was on 4:44:44, and I was like, oh, I should stop here, but that would be kind of abrupt. But 44 minutes and 44 seconds. So the 4 is always means angels are all around. And I just happened to look at that time, which meant that they want me to see it. And now there's 14 people on, so they're really wanting me to see. Angels are with us. Thumbs up. Way to go, guys. All right, let's say a prayer to end our class. Deep breath. Thank you, Lord, for today. Thank you for this time. Thank you for all the people that have found themselves to this page and working with me this morning and honoring your angels. I pray that there will be miraculous healings for each and every one of them. I'm praying specifically for the healing of a little teeny baby that we know is in precarious situation right now at Iowa City, and we ask that you bless that little one, that little premature baby, and bring lots of light and healing and angelic energy all around to her. And to each of us, may there be good health and wealth and love and joy. May we all step into our courage, asking for the healing, receiving the healing, and knowing that it will be. In your name, we are grateful and for this time. Amen. All right, guys, thank you so much for listening. I didn't put on the chat, so I can't see if you're talking to me. I'm sorry about that. But if you've got a question, you can ask and leave it online. But make sure you give me a thumbs up if you like this, or at least tell me where you're from, because I'll be able to read this afterwards. I just wanted to really focus on the class today, so I didn't put that live feed on. Be well. God bless you. Have a wonderful weekend. Happy Mother's Day, everybody. My man. God bless you. And